Oh, what a wonderful Saturday morning here in Cleveland, Ohio, where the temperature is cold and it's snowing yet again. But luckily, we have you here with us here on the Bearder Browns podcast, the Morning Brew Show. Today, we got some topics we're going to hit up. We're going to talk about the latest Browns news of the week, our playoff picks from last week. I'm going to go over then who seems to got more correct last week and who is on the bottom. We're going to go over the games this week and pick those divisional rounds also. Also, we're going to hit up that Jason Lloyd article that came out about Deshaun Watson. The Browns gave Deshaun Watson what he wanted. Now they're paying the price, literally paying the price more ways than one. And then we're going into 5 stupid questions, and then we're going to end the show. But before we do all that, please give a like to subscribe, follow all our social medias. They're on X, YouTube, and Facebook to stay up to date on our latest content. But folks, Mike, Sam, how was your Saturday morning?
Sam, you go first. Yours was
it was invigorating. I literally just stepped in the house about a half hour ago. I was out because I know it's about to freeze over, so I was trying to get the ice and sleet out of that driveway apron so we can get in and out, and also doing my neighbors because he's elderly and can't take care of himself, and he has frequent trips with Life Care, and sometimes the ambulance comes over, and just wanted to make sure he can get in. They can get in and get him in and out. But yeah, I just literally sat down. I feel like I just came out of the gym. I just got my breathing under control, and here we are, fellas. How's y'all's morning going?
Well, I walked outside to grab this shirt that I got from Beard Gains this morning. And,
yes, shout out to Beard Gains, our sponsor, 10%.
So I rolled out there in sand or my slippers. Won't do that again because it's all like that slushy stuff because we got rain on top of all that. And I said, this stuff ain't for me. And I walked back in the house.
Me this Saturday morning, I woke up surprisingly before my kids, and then I actually enjoyed a half hour of quiet time. I was able to do something, make a new template to share about you probably saw it. We shared it on our feeds, the Browns Morning Brew. I was able to make that, eat a bacon, egg, and cheese bagel. I was able to enjoy the quietness before the calm of the storm came with my kids running down the stairs, and I said, Daddy's going on the podcast. There goes your tablets. Enjoy your morning. But I'm not looking forward to this weather coming up this week. It's going to be horrible. So everyone who, like Mike, who's going to be out there towing people, getting people out of ditches, please drive safe, drive responsibly. So Mike is not out there pulling you guys out every 5 seconds.
You know the saying, man. Bitches love ditches.
There you go.
And Amazon people.
If you ain't got to go nowhere and you got everything you need, then don't go nowhere.
Yeah,
simple.
And if you're an Amazon driver, do not back in the driveway. You know the rules.
Yeah, you got to. I was told because I do Uber and Lyft on the weekend sometimes. And I got a 3rd degree by someone I picked up because he said an Amazon driver drove his big truck on his driveway and how he cussed him out. I said they can't go in driveway. He's like, no, legally they can't go because they'll mess up your driveway with those big trucks. I'm like, didn't know that.
If they go backwards 7 miles an hour, they're immediately fired. If they go backwards 3 miles an hour, they get a warning.
Oh.
And then they got to pay for the windshield. So the electric van I had to do yesterday that weighs
2 pounds?
Quite a bit. No, it's electric. So there's a ton of batteries. He sunk the rear end in a front-wheel drive car or van.
Oh, jeez.
That dude doesn't seem to care. I wanted to, man.
Bad news written all over that. There,
let's not even talk about that.
Yeah.
Move along.
Yeah, we're going to move along. This
Browns
week,
talk.
Browns news promoted by Doug White, Allstate Insurance. Please give Doug White a call for all your insurance needs. First and foremost, the stadium update. Yes, this stadium update seems to going to be a draw-out drama fest between 2 men who have power and wants to show who has the biggest ego. Either that or Cleveland, the city, is trying to hold out to see if the Haslam's are willing to give them money so they can spend to fill that dumpster dive of a stadium with something cool. Either way, the city of Cleveland sues the Haslam's. They say, you can't take our money and run. The city accuses the Browns of seeking to abandon the Lakefront Stadium downtown Cleveland that they asked for to help build and maintain, and hoping that the other set taxpayers will pay them to move to a new city with a new set of promises. So basically, Mayor Bibb is saying, "Hey, we paid to have this city paid for the stadium to be updated. We updated it just a little bit. We added a couple of screens and maybe a couple of new toilets, and yet you're still asking to leave."
It's a joke.
I don't understand this. Why are you guys leaving? So what is you guys thought on this I guess next level of drama with Mayor Bibb and the city trying to fight the Haslam's over moving 15 minutes down the road?
Quick. Mine's just because voting's coming up. Mayor Bibb at the last second tries to make a retrieval to keep the Browns here, and it's a very, very poor decision. Last second, man. As soon as all the stuff starts coming out about Brook Park, you want to be a hero and try to keep the team in Cleveland and use the Modell law to keep that here, which is, I think, ignorant in itself. But at the end of the day, we're not moving out of Cleveland. Literally you could throw a rock into Cleveland. From where we're going to be at, this is Mayor Bibb trying to now throw money and say we could do it at Burke Lakefront. But, yeah, last second, dude, it ain't going to work. Good luck.
Sam?
Yeah, buddy. Here we go. You can thank former Mayor Dennis Kucinich, because he is the one that actually instilled the Modell law. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. He is the one that put that law into effect, and he's got his face all in this rodeo ring now too. He is the one who drew up that law. He's backing it, of course. You ain't heard Dennis Kucinich's name in a while, and he's already on the news this morning. All right. I'm like, here we go. Like Mike said, you political weasels, dude. You every time that's what it is. It's just stop. Okay, let's stop. Now it's going to drag out. It's going to cost people money. It's going to go to court. It's going to get overturned. I mean, if I live next door and the rent's and my lease is up and there's a house next door that's nicer, I'm going to that house.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just the way it's going to go. All right, but now we have to go through these legalities and this BS, and Mayor Bibb trying to put his foot down. You know, like I said, worry about your crime in your city. Take care of your city, dude. And you still, once that's gone, and what you're trying to do over there is renovate, and you're putting a temporary Band-Aid that's going to be a problem anyway. You're not making nothing new. You want to renovate. You're changing the toilet seat on the same toilet.
Exactly.
All right. So, I mean, with that, enough said. And we will watch as the drama continues with this. But
yeah, I think
it's a shame it's got to go that far with all this, you know.
Yeah, I think it's going to get to the point where it's going to go to court, and Haslam's going to have to sit down with Bibb and say, okay, listen, this is how much I'm willing to give to the city to help either build something, do something, add money to the city, even though we're leaving 15 minutes away. It's really not going to impact anything other than some downtown business, which my argument is, what's going on with that business right now? Like, how are they surviving now? Right down, it doesn't make sense. Like, how is it the Browns moving 15 minutes down the road, impacting business downtown when the Browns don't even make the playoffs?
Right, you got a losing team. I mean,
yeah,
come on.
It's impacting the Cleveland money pockets. That's what it's impacting.
Yeah, it's probably, you know what it is. It's the parking. You know, Cleveland City gets the parking money down there, which a lot of fans do go down there for parking. So it ultimately impacts the city, not as much as the businesses. I mean, businesses also help probably pay taxes and whatever down there, and they're probably afraid that those businesses might move into Brook Park. If that's the case, good. Brook Park is still a subset of Cleveland. I mean, all of that eventually flows in together. People still stay downtown, drive 15 minutes down the road to go to the stadium. Either way, it's all going to work out.
Now the Browns pay to just go to the Crazy Horse on Brook Park Road after the game and before the game. That's what it's going to hurt is honestly the bars that are down there and stuff, because Sundays aren't going to be the same in downtown Cleveland, and I get that. I mean, it kind of sucks, but you know what? At the same time, you made a sad attempt at this. We asked you for years, dude, and now you're doing nothing. Now that it's last second, you want to do something, make yourself look good, but in the end, it's not going to work.
Yeah, kind of like what Sam said. The Browns argue that they're free of their obligation to Cleveland once their lease is up in 2028, which is true. I mean, once your lease is up, it's up. Like if I lease a car and my lease is up, I have either an obligation to buy it or get into a new lease with a new car. And that's what the Browns are doing. They're trying to get out of downtown because Haslam wants all the money. I will even go to say, I don't think a lot of people are saying, well, how much do the taxpayers are going to have to pay to get this stadium? I think Haslam's, I'm not 100% sure on this. I'm just going based upon feel. I think Haslam doesn't want too much taxpayer money, because I think he wants 100 more profit from this vision that he has. I don't think he wants 49% to go to the city. I think he's going to try to do his best to go get close to 100% as possible, even if it's private funding. By that way, the money's his. The parking, the tickets, everything down there in Haslam's world is going to be his, and you have to worry about forking money out to nobody.
Haslam's world.
That's what he's trying to build. That's what he's trying to do.
And you know what? Don't get me wrong. I'm all for that.
Hasland.
There you go. Yeah.
Haslam.
I am all for. I'm literally all for the Modell law. I am, but we're not moving out of Ohio.
Yeah, we're not even moving out of Cleveland. I mean, it's 15 minutes down the road. It's not like they're going to Columbus, right? Or even Canton, which is another hour. But nonetheless, next topic: the Browns
still in Cuyahoga County.
Exactly.
So
Browns hired Tommy Rees as offensive coordinator. Good move, bad move. We talked about this a little bit on Tuesday, but
I think it's a good move with his background. I think that it's good to bring somebody within the organization to that position. That's how the NFL works. You start, like, say, he was a tight ends coach this year. Obviously, in college, he was an offensive coordinator. But he came here as a tight ends coach, and you move up in the NFL. You don't. You shouldn't have to go backwards. So, yeah, I like the move. I think the kid's smart. I think he's going to work well with Stefanski as well. So, I mean, we all wanted that Clint Kubiak thing. That was like a big Clint Kubiak watch. We had him in the building, and everybody's like, don't let him leave, don't let him leave. And we let him leave. And obviously for a good reason, hopefully. So I am looking forward to seeing the offensive scheming this year.
Sam?
I think I think that's a good upgrade. Like you said, like Mike said, you kind of promoting within. I looked at some of his accolades. 6 seasons at Notre Dame, quarterback coach, 2017, 2019. During them years, the team averaged 30 points a game. Offensive coordinator from 2020, 2022 with Notre Dame. He also did a stint in 1 season in Alabama under Nick Saban. I mean, so he's been around. So it's not like they're just picking some guy up off the block. And he's already been within our organization. As of this year, as him being a tight ends coach, we had 5 tight ends on our active roster this year, and they combined for 111 receptions on this season. 953 total yards, 8 TDs. 5 of those going to Njoku, 2 of them going to Akins. And then we rounded it out with the other guys that were on the active roster. Each had 1, I believe. So, I mean, it looks good on paper. I'm looking at it. I like what I see. You know, let's see what he can do. He's been in that position before as an offensive coordinator. Let's give him the reins and see what's happening. I'll say this. It can't be no worse than what we already just got done dealing with.
100% true.
I'm just going to throw
and we're going to get more into that later. It cannot be any worse than what it was this last 2 years. I agree with that. I'll piggyback off what Sam said. Like, all the accolades that he said as far as what he was doing, he's done in his short career. He's only 32 years old, right? So
I wanted to point out too, real quick. I'm sorry, Angel.
No, you're good. Go ahead. It's your show too.
Yeah, I just it was something I wanted to touch on within my notes. I forgot to say it though, but Njoku was out for a few games, and he still managed to be in the top 10 tight end of the NFL this year. So that's hats off to him too, man. He still ended up being,
Are you sure it's not top 10 for drop passes or? No, I'm kidding.
Well, he had a few of those. Hey, man, but he got you what you needed. He got you touchdown. Yeah. All right. He got you that 2-point conversion when you needed it. Like you said, he'll make those miraculous catches, but then you throw him a heater over to linebackers, and he's a little bit rubber on that with the hands, but that's still my dude. I back him up, man. I'm picking Njoku all day, son.
I think we all like him on the show. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. He does drop the easy
He was
passes at
second in,
times.
if I'm reading it correctly, he was also second in on the team for receptions.
Yeah, I would not
So,
doubt that. Yeah,
so
this team. Well, really second behind Tillman. I would have thought it would have been. Yeah, Tillman was out the last 4 games, so that makes sense.
yeah, I'm looking at it, and it looked like he was second on the team for receptions. So
Wow, nice.
Tillman was out like the last 6 games.
Big Chief.
Oh, yeah, I
Chief was
forgot.
out. How many games was Njoku was out for? Like 4 games or 3
I think
games
it was
too.
3 or 4. Yeah.
So there's some time. That goes to Judy too. I mean, he didn't get a chance to start a season here. We had the Amari Cooper deal go down, and then he came in the picture. Just imagine that guy was here all season, even with the crap that was going on with Deshaun. So, I mean, that's stuff to look forward to for me next year. So let them guys fucking play, man.
We're going to get into that too.
Yeah. I do like the retire for the reason that he's young, 32. I think he's going to add on to what Kevin was really successful in during what people love, the Baker years. I'll be interested to see what they do in the draft. There's a lot of connection with him and Milroe. They said that Milroe's best season in Alabama, Tommy Rees was his quarterback coach, which is important to understand. He is also a quarterback coach, so don't be surprised if they don't hire a quarterback coach because they're going to get a young guy in here in which he may coach and run have say on the offense too. I don't know if he's going to call plays, and I'll be honest with you, that's not a deal breaker for me. I think Kevin can call plays outside of 2 or 3 weird head scratching plays. It's better than what we experienced this year when you had like, what the heck are they doing moments every other play call. But I like this move because he's young. He's had experience. He was running pro systems in the college system. So when he was at Notre Dame, he was running a pro system. When he was in Alabama, he was running a pro system. So he has some familiarity with pro system, which is what we're running here, by the way, because we are trying to look like a pro team.
We're trying.
In this bipolar ass state we live in, now the sun is out and it's not snowing.
And it's still snowing. Me in Strongsville here. You got that Florida weather down there in LaGrange. I still got the Ohio weather. 30 minutes up the road. I'm still a little colder than you.
My neighbor called me yesterday. He's in Florida, and he's like, it's only 75 here. I'm like, no.
Hang up. No. I'm going to hang up on you.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, Myles Garrett was on HBO this past week, and he used the comments that we are closer than some may think. I bring these comments up for 2 reasons. 1, do you agree or disagree? And 2, he says the words, we are closer than some may think. So why would he say we if he has no intent to stay?
There's multiple times he said when everybody freaked out about his past comments.
He
said this organization, we and this organization, that means him and this team.
Exactly.
He's not going anywhere. I think the guy just wanted to see some change happen, and we're going to get more into that. But yeah, change. And there's been things that needed to be changed, and we didn't go on a full out restart. We soft rebuild.
Yep.
We got rid of 2 coaches. We gained somebody that's already in here, which is great. We're gonna have to find another tight ends coach, maybe get a quarterbacks coach. Man, this team drives me insane. Sam?
Yeah.
Well, it's just, real quick. I'll take Myles for his word. He don't seem like he's the kind of guy that's gonna sit here and feed you some bullshit.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to be fed no bullshit. So when he had his original, when he made his original first statements, he's putting it out there. Listen, man, we're gonna have a talk. We, organization, Browns, gonna have a talk end of the season. I want to see where we're at. And then I think he did make it. He was making decisions, and he's been here long enough that he should be, his word's viable to me. So, let's Myles be Myles. I mean, he wanted. Obviously, there's been talk with that. How he said that. That tells me that he's already heard what he wants to hear. Now he just wants to see it come to fruition. So.
And why it came out is he was concerned. Like he was legitimately concerned about this team and its future, and I get that.
Especially knowing the news you know now, you could see why he was concerned about why he said what he said.
And all that stuff was, we were not seeing or hearing that. I mean, it's all coming out now, but
Well, it was always speculated, right?
it was
So,
yes.
yeah,
Exactly.
everyone's like,
Speculation.
yeah, it's like, wow, this team is weird. There's some things going on. People are like, no, man, give him some time. Give this, blah, blah, blah. And they ever throw excuses. But
I didn't want to say nothing. I'll say it now. Week 2, I came on your guys' show. Former Browns player.
Wait, save that.
yeah. That's
former Browns player.
And that's a
said
tease.
That these guys were not on the same page with Deshaun Watson, and the locker room was already, before we even started the season, was already.
You didn't save it.
Yep, that's it. Let's save that for a couple more minutes. But I'm gonna go on to because you could get in. Yeah, you're gonna get into the story. I agree with Garrett's comments that they're closer than some may think. Now, what he means by closer doesn't necessarily mean Super Bowl, right? It means like we can be back on the winning track again is closer than what we think. Playoff team. Once you get into the playoffs, anything is possible. Look at Washington. So yes, they're closer than what some may think, and it's simple. Denzel Ward came out today, say we're a elite quarterback away from being good. Everybody knows the issue on the team. Everybody knows the elephant in the room is the quarterback. So he's right, and we've said it. If you give us an average quarterback under Kevin's system, and here's the thing. We've been saying it all year. People push back on it. Kevin sucks. There's some things about Kevin that's not perfect. No coach is perfect. Look at Tomlin. He's nothing but winning records. Can't win in the playoffs, and the team wants somebody new. Get it? The fans want someone new. This team likes Kevin. This team has Kevin's back. Okay, that's something we can establish now, and we can say that without any reckless speculation or no certainty that this team is playing for Kevin. He's not a rah-rah guy, but they still like him. Got it.
Have you guys watched the Hard Knocks yet?
I've been watching some of it, yes.
So, yeah, it gets pretty gritty, man. I am on episode 3, I think, right now. And I'm going to watch some more today after I get some stuff done. But we'll touch base with that again here in a minute.
Yeah, so so they're and we said that they need an average quarterback. Could they get an average quarterback under this new system, especially with Tommy Rees helping, bringing in some new wrinkles? I think they're going to be better next year. Now, how much better depends on these offseason moves. Depends on these picks that Andrew hits. If he does or doesn't, it's going to be a huge thing. On to the next topic: playoff picks. We made picks last week for the wild card weekend. And let's go over them real quick. Mike picked Texans to win, Ravens to win, Bills to win, Eagles to win, Buccaneers to win, and Vikings to win. Angel picked Chargers to win, Ravens, Bills, Packers, Commanders, Vikings. Sam picked Chargers. He changed that pick last minute. I like to bring that up.
I'd have been tied with you, Mike. Yeah. I should have left it alone. Leave it alone.
That's the one he threw a Hail Mary at the last second, and they dropped it in the end zone.
Should have left it alone, man. I was on a roll.
I mean, but the pick made sense.
It
so
did.
It made sense. Ravens, Bills, Eagles, Buccaneers, and Vikings. So Mike leads the pack with 4 correct. Because Texans, Ravens, Bills, and Eagles won. I am proud to say that I did get the Commanders one right. That's the only one I can hang my hat on because Baker is not in the second round of the playoffs, and we're not hearing Baker. Baker should be in Cleveland this week. By the way, our socials blew up because we posted that on our social feed, and thank you to everyone that allowed our engagements to go up that week.
Wait a second. Actually, Baker, I did put a poll on X. Let me find it. It's we said it in the show last night. Oh no, never mind. That's the wrong poll. Huh. I asked what would Cleveland want Baker back? And Chad posts a lot on X. Here it is. As a Browns fan, would you want Baker Mayfield back? 62.2%. This is out of 196 people. 62.2% said, sorry, that was not me coughing. Yes. 37.8% said no.
That makes sense.
I don't want to talk too much about it, but yeah,
I mean, yeah, right now, yeah, you would get Baker back considering the situation you're in, right? Because you're thinking, well, we would have Baker in all the picks. Good argument.
That 30-some%, what was it, Mike? 30 what percent? That said no.
Was,
those are the people that are actually know what they're talking about and actually know football. I'll put that out there. Those are the people that actually they're not saying I'm going to bet on this team because their uniforms are cool. You know what I'm saying? They actually know.
I like the mascot. So let me.
That mascot will definitely beat that mascot.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll go with them 30% centers there on that one, man. Like I said, I'm not opposed to Baker, but I wouldn't want him back here. I liked what he did when he was here. I liked some stuff that he did do and didn't do. And then I'm on to my next chapter. I'm not living in the past. I'm living in the Browns' future. So those people are not your lunatic fans. Those are the fans you can actually sit down and actually have a decent conversation with. So,
and then
they might be at the bottom of the percentile, but that's because they're
one
smarter.
more quick poll that we did talk about. We just touched base with, and I forgot I posted this. We said yes in the show last Tuesday. What do you think, Myles Garrett? Or do you think Myles Garrett will return to the Browns this year? 93. This is out of 121 votes. 93.4 people said yes, and 6.6% said no.
Those 6.6% are just negative fans who don't watch football. If you don't read what first of all what he said, and if you watch the whole press conference and not just what Mary Kay Cabot asked them and how she led him to that answer of how, well, what if they don't do this? What if they don't do it? And eventually he was like, yeah, sure. Then I'm going to request a trade because this team's going to suck. I'm not going to stay on a sucky team. And then what Andrew Berry said, he's going to be here for a long time. He didn't say that about Chubb. And if you can, again, hear what Kevin said about him, then you know that he's going to be a staple of this organization and he's going to be paid handsomely this offseason, possibly the highest paid pass rusher in NFL history. So the 94% got it right.
Agreed.
Go. Get your Abdul Carter, right? Abdul Carter, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mason Graham.
So
you get him lined up in here too, man. And now we're talking a whole new. I don't know if you guys play chess, man. Those are going to be your rook ends, man. And I'm down with that, man. I'm on board with that, man. So.
Yeah, I don't play chess. I'm not bright enough for it, but I'm bright enough to know that if you add 2 edge rushers, that's going to cause a problem for an offense any day. Also, even if they don't get Abdul Carter, but they get Graham, that's understandable because I read some statistics I'll probably bring out later about Isaiah McGuire the last 6 games. He was improving every game. His pass rush was percentage, quarterback rate was really good, and his run tackling, I should say, was off the charts. So if we don't get Abdul Carter, I don't want fans to think, oh my God, why didn't we get him? Maybe they see, well, we got McGuire. He's serviceable enough to improve. And if we get Graham, we can lock up our middle and we have our 2 ends already. So it makes sense from that standpoint. Sorry, I'm doing draft talk early.
No, but this is flip-flop them guys as well.
Yeah.
That's good.
And also, too, Graham did play
good
end.
To have options.
Graham did play end, and there was some snaps. Now, it was very small in Michigan where he played end. And also, too, in the middle, he got 6 sacks last year. In the middle, as a defensive tackle, is insane. So that's just quick draft breakdown brought to you by Beard Gains. Beard Gains. Go to beardgains.com. Use promo code Bearded Browns at checkout and receive your 10%. You can get not only cool beard stuff to help your beard look luscious and beautiful, but you can get gear. See that hat Mike has on right now? Beard Gains. And show off that shirt, Mike. It says pity the beardless. So meaning if you don't have a beard, we pity you. Literally, we're judging you. Also, this hat here, it says nice hat. I got it. It's a dad hat. They have
a nice beard.
Oh, nice beard. What did it say?
That's nice hat, but it says nice beard.
Yeah, nice beard. I meant to say it is a nice hat. Very good quality. It's not cheaply made. It's only $20, what you would normally get at a store for a hat anyways. But again, use promo code Bearded Browns and you receive 10% off. And if you shop over if you spend over $35, you would save on shipping.
Free shipping.
Free shipping, 100%. Next, Saturday games this week. We have first Chiefs versus Houston this Saturday. We're going to get into our picks right now. I guess we can go pick by pick here. Mike, who do you have?
Unfortunately, the Chiefs, I'm going to have to admit it, man. I think they're just going to walk over Baltimore. I think that's what I'm going to go with.
It's Chiefs versus Houston.
Oh, that's what I meant. Sorry, Houston. Lions, Eagles, and the Bills.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. How about you, Sam?
Chiefs. I'm putting my head down, but it's going to be Chiefs. They're a better team for that game versus Houston Texans. I'm going to go with Lions over the Commanders. Are we going through them all, or are we going one by one?
Yeah, you can go through them all, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay, Chiefs. I'm going to go Lions, and then I'm going to go Eagles, and then Ravens. That's me. That's what I'm riding. That's what I'm riding with.
Okay, yeah, Chiefs, obviously, for me. I actually think this game's going to be a lot closer. I think Houston, Nixon is playing. Actually, they came out that he's actually playing today, which makes it a little better for Houston to control the clock and keep the Chiefs off the field. But I can't go against the Chiefs until they lose. Commanders versus Lions. I think Lions are 8-point favorite right now, which I don't understand because I think Commanders are going to keep that closer than what it is. So I picked the Lions there. Rams versus Eagles is very intriguing to me. I think I'm just going to pick the Rams here. I'm going to ram the Rams because I think the Rams are a little hot right now, and I think they're better than the Eagles on paper. I like their coach better. I like their quarterback is playing better. And most importantly, I think the Rams defense is playing lights out, not just because of what they did to Sam Darnold, but their young front is going to tear up Hurts, who isn't playing well, as good as people may seem. And this last game is a tough game for me. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't even put the pick down because this morning as I was eating my bagel sandwich, I was like, man, I could see both teams winning here. Can I do a tie? But I realized I can't because it's a playoff game, right? So I'm going to have to go with the Bills, unfortunately. And I have a feeling that I might be wrong here, but the Ravens, I just can't pick the Ravens just because they're the Ravens. And I'm hoping Josh Allen gets past them and beats Patty Mahomes in the AFC Championship game and goes on. I'll be full disclosure. I want to see a Bills Lions Super Bowl. That's why I'm picking the Bills. Okay,
that's where I'm at.
That's fine. So
Ravens Lions.
Ravens Lions.
Yep.
That would be a good matchup.
Yep.
So Mike, to preview, Mike picked the Chiefs, Lions, Eagles, and Bills. Sam picked the Chiefs, Lions, Eagles, and Ravens. Angel picks the Chiefs, Lions, Rams, and Bills. So and Mike's currently leading 4 correct, 3 correct for me and Sam. So he's up by 1 going into the divisional round. And this might separate us because, I mean, we might be picking the same teams from here on out after this round.
Guru just said we're all Bills fans this weekend.
We are Bills fans this weekend. I'm hoping. I'm hoping they win. I would love to see a Great Lakes Super Bowl where you have 2 teams from the Great Lakes up there, and the NFL get mad because there's no West Coast team out there.
It's all East.
All East.
I used to be like, I'm just looking at it on paper right now, and because I used to be the same way. I'm like, Ravens, I don't care. They got to go. It's like Pittsburgh first, out of here. Next, Ravens, gone. Then, hey, I might watch the Bengals, okay? But I'm not going to go with that. I changed it up, man. I'm like, I'm just that 2-headed monster they got over there with Sir Henry and Lamar, I think it's just going to be too much for the Bills, man. So that's why I'm swinging that way with them guys. So
that's why I think with the Rams, man, and the Eagles, Saquon Barkley, dude.
Real quick. I got the Rams. I said I'm not changing nothing. Okay, that was when you were eating your bagel. You're saying, Angel. That was my game that I was doing. I got them both. They're both highlighted on my sheet, and I'm like, Eagles. But subtly, I'm like Rams. So I don't know. I think Jalen Hurts is still hurt. I don't think he's playing his full caliber. So that's just me.
Yeah, I agree. I think Hurts, there's something going on there where Hurts isn't playing 100% of what he normally should play. And I agree with that. They're not saying much. They probably won't. the fact that his leading receiver only had one catch for 10 yards or 6 yards last week is concerning. And I think the Rams defense is a lot better than what people may see or are saying, but they're finally saying it now after what they did last week against the Vikings.
Justin Jefferson, man, 5 receptions for like 60-something yards was it.
Yeah, they shut him down.
That was a shocker to me, man.
That shocked everybody because they're like, Vikings. Man. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. On to the next one. I don't know if people heard about this yet. Jason Lord came out with an article called "The Browns Gave Deshaun Watson What He Wanted, and Now They're Paying the Price." It's on The Athletic. Jason Lord's a great writer. I don't pay for The Athletic. I have a friend that sent it to me. So, but if I had extra funds, that would be one of the articles that I would normally sign up for because I think they have a lot of good stuff that pump out as far as sports content is concerned. But I read the article and there's a couple of things. Wait, how many? 1, 2, 3. There's 4 things that I read. Now the article is amazing. There's more than 4, but we can't spend the whole show. We probably could have spend 3 hours talking about the article. But there's 4 things that when I read, I thought, hey, let me bring this up on a podcast, see what the other guys think about it. That is concerning to me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read what Jason said, and then we're just going to react to it. And I want to see what you guys feel about it. And then maybe Sam can share that insight story that he shared with us, in week 2 or week 3. Jason Lloyd said Coach Kevin had shown Watson film clips of his offense during their first meeting in March of 2022, demonstrating how Watson could thrive in the wide zone play action scheme crafted by Gary Kubiak and Mike Shanahan. But after he arrived in Cleveland, Watson never embraced Stavesky's system. He wanted to be in shotgun, and Kevin wanted him under center to make play action more of a component, make the play action component more effective. Reading this, do you think Kevin had say on who his quarterback would be?
I don't think so at all. I think he was forcing here, and we babied him, and we played what he wanted to play, not what Stefanski or Dorsey or anybody wanted to play. It was all Deshaun Watson being stubborn and showing poor play and poor attitude, I think, is what killed this.
Sam?
I touched on it earlier. Former Browns player kind of gave some insight on things early in the season. I'm talking like week 2. I got this information. I didn't let it out because I didn't want to believe it, man. I really was like, this is the make or break year for Deshaun, and I wanted the best. So when I heard what I heard, former Browns player said that there was problems in the locker room already with this guy, and that some of these players were not on deck with him. And I didn't want to. I'm like, man, this guy's got no reason to embellish a story or make a story up. Okay, he shoots it straight, and this came from a reliable source. And I didn't want to accept that. And then here we are now, and what I heard earlier, it was true. There was problems already going on. These guys weren't digging on him. Some of them, most of them, but there was already some bad air in locker room before season started. I'll leave it at that.
Real quick, Gru says, I think Kevin was handcuffed. The way the team looked this season was a result. How do you think the morale in the locker room was watching Watson get all the special treatment? And I agree. I said it last week. I touched base with what I thought of. Angels said it multiple times. Somebody's handcuffed in this organization, and we figured out all this. I called it week 3. I said Deshaun is killing the vibe of this team, the locker room. There's no morale. There's no culture being built. Nothing. It was just, in simplest terms, a giant shit show.
And that guy never wanted to come here.
No, it's
okay.
Not until
and they rolled out this red carpet. They wined him, they dined him, and nothing ever came out of it but chaos. Just the way to put it.
When I read that line, the couple of questions came to my mind was, did they not know how Watson felt about Kevin's scheme prior to giving him that money? Because you would think they had a meeting with Watson. There's an article out that says that Haslam, Kevin, and Barry both flew down to Texas to talk to him. Now, maybe that's the meeting in March of 2022. And maybe how Kevin said, hey, look, this is how we're going to make you thrive. And maybe Watson wasn't 100% on board at that moment, but he thought to himself exactly what you just said, Sam. I'm going to get paid. Like, regardless of what happens there, I'm going to get paid. It doesn't matter. Now, again, that's reckless speculation. We don't know how he felt. But by this article saying he wanted to be in shotgun and never be under center, that tells me that Watson had intent to just play whatever he wanted to play here, regardless of what the coach was going to do or say. Kevin had a plan. His plan was simple, and it tells you what Kevin's plan is going to be this year. And it's written here in the article for those that need to know what system Kevin's going to run and why we thought Kubiak's son would make more sense, because the scheme was crafted by Gary Kubiak and Mike Shanahan.
Can I interject real quick too?
Yeah.
I'm thinking like that game when just Deshaun walked off the field, it all makes a little bit more sense. He wasn't feeling what Stefanski was wanting to do, and he walked off the field in that game. Let's say for what it's worth, they're like, oh, well, time was coming down. Because Stefanski's look on his face was like, what is this dude doing right now? He is not listening to me.
Yeah, he's confused. He's like, what's going on?
Yeah, what are you doing? So I don't know. That just rings a bell since we're on this topic. It's like, yeah, that dude was not on deck with whatever he was being uncoachable.
Defending that situation. I'm sorry. I'm not defending that situation at all by any means when I say this. But Deshaun Watson supposedly saw too many men on the field when he walked off is why he didn't stay out there. And it wasn't being fixed. Obviously, I mean, that could be...
Call timeout.
I don't think we had any.
Yeah, I don't think we had any at that time. That was the talk around that. But again, could that have been a reasonable excuse that just by chance they had too many guys in the field, etc.? But either way, we don't know. But that's actually a good point. But either way, that's the system that we're going to run here. So when people are thinking, what quarterback are the Browns going to get? Point to this article. It's going to be a quarterback that can run a Gary Kubiak, Mike Shanahan system. So if you think we're going out there and getting Justin Fields, does he fit into a Gary Kubiak, Mike Shanahan system?
No.
Now, who makes sense is, man, he just that dude. Crap. Why did I forget? Minnesota guy. My goodness.
Darnold?
Not Darnold.
J.J. McCarthy.
Sam Darnold and
Cousins?
Kirk Cousins. My goodness, why can I not remember his
Falcons
name?
now.
He's with Atlanta. I meant to say Minnesota and Atlanta, but his name, Kirk Cousins makes sense.
They want a guy. I mean, they want a guy that stays under center.
Exactly.
And runs play action. So that's their scheme. They just told you, they outlined it. So you got to put the right puzzle piece into that program. So I'll give you one guy in the draft, and I'll save the rest for if we ever do a draft show, which we probably will. There's one guy in the draft that, and I won't even say his name. I'll let you guys do the homework. One guy in the draft that spent 60% of his snaps under center. Okay. And about 99% of the fans don't want him. But if they get him, I'm telling you, from an organization standpoint, it makes sense. So don't be upset if they get this quarterback. I'm leading you guys here, and you guys don't like him because he ran a pro system 60% of the time when he was in college. I'll leave it at that. Next point. Next article brings up Jason Lloyd says the player, it's kind of what Mike just hit on. We'll hit on this again, but it says players told me that there was a consistent heaviness surrounding Watson in the locker room, and that felt like a different energy in the building upon his departure after his Achilles injury in October. A couple of veterans told me, Jason Lloyd, it felt like a cloud has been lifted. Mike, the reason why I put this in the article, because I instantly thought of our podcast out during week 3
and you came out and you said, hey, I just feel like this team just doesn't want to play for Watson. And me and Chad was like, oh, you can't say that. That's reckless speculation. But it's true. It seemed like this team did not want to play for Deshaun. And hindsight now, as someone who
Amari Cooper didn't.
Yeah, hindsight now makes me realize, you know what, Mike was right.
In a sense, because there's still people out there. We talked about it before when I brought it up that these players still need to go out there and get good tape because in the NFL, that's your job to do. At the end of the day, you have a job. But their mentality was, why is this dude that has all these allegations and always hurt getting all this money, and I come here and I bust my ass and I get nothing, and it's just like, that doesn't help your team.
No, I think it was a bad taste in a guy's mouth.
Yeah,
man. It's like getting slapped in the face.
So that was my outlook on that whole situation, and I was right.
I'd rather get punched in my face than slapped in my face. I'll put that out there too.
One of the viewers like, good to know. So if I see you, I'm gonna
swing for the fences, baby.
What Mike? I don't know. I don't want to speak for Mike, but what I'm saying is Mike was not saying they weren't blocking for him because they were doing their job. They were still blocking for him, but the desire to play for him was not as desirable as, let's say, Joe Flacco. They weren't as excited. It's like you going to work knowing that you're going to have to work with that annoying coworker for 8 hours that you don't like, as opposed to one of your work friends where you guys have fun and make the shift better, as opposed to that one guy who's a Debbie Downer. And
I thought I heard you cuss for the first time.
You're correct. You're correcting his mistakes consistently. So that's what Mike is saying. When I brought this up, a couple of people were like, "Oh, so you're saying that they didn't want to?" No, I'm not saying that. I don't think the article is saying that. I'm saying the article was saying they knew who Deshaun Watson was, and we're going to get into two more things that he wrote in the letter that shows why they might have felt that way.
Really quick, I just want to point out one thing. You're playing shotgun with no running back in the backfield. You know you're going to run the ball.
Every time.
Your linemen are built different. They're not built for you to be in shotgun, first and foremost. They're not built for you to drop back another 7 steps after you're already in shotgun, and then you scramble. So I've said it a million times. That offensive line's back is towards you. We had left tackle issues. That's his blind side. That's not going to help. But when you're scrambling after dropping back 7 more yards while in shotgun and then disperse yourself out of the pocket, and it's going to fail. That's how it's going to work.
The line was probably like the Scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz. They're going, what is this guy doing? Where is he going? So which way did he go?
Right.
I don't know. I didn't know that was the part of the plan. Yeah. So I know we had some line problems in the beginning of the season. We all touched on that, and we did. We had some injuries to deal with, but with him, like you were saying, Mike, when he's back there and he's just kind of just tossing chips wherever they're going to go, there's no stability there. He's just out there at free will. It's like, what is this guy doing? So in hindsight, now that we know, end of the season, this is starting to, the picture's coming a little more clearer to what was going on here. So
you said that they had line issues, which I agree from an injury standpoint. But was it more of a line issue or a scheme issue with the line?
I think a little both. I think a little both. And then like I said, like Mike, I mean, it's right there, man, in plain sight. When you got a quarterback, he's not seeing his reads, and he's just back there winging it. Is not going to work.
You just led us right into the next topic.
Let's go ahead, Angel. Let's run it. Let's run it.
Said tight end Jordan Akins was Jason Lloyd said tight end Jordan Akins was wide open in the flat. Y'all remember that, right? That game, because I do. But Watson didn't see him and was short stop short of the first down on a keeper, meaning quarterback draw. At his weekly media availability 3 days later, Watson said that Akins was a decoy. He was an open decoy. He was open, but he was just a decoy. We were told not to pay
decoy, dumbass.
I remember him saying that. That's when I thought this dude is done on the play, and was not intended. It was not intended to receiver. He was not the intended receiver. We all saw the same thing. One player said, We all watch film. Guys are open. Now, last night I did a little homework because I'm a married man with 2 kids, and they were playing Nintendo Switch all night. So what I did was I read an article that talked about Watson, and it said a concerning stat. I posted it on our socials, but it said Watson's EPA, meaning expected points per attempt per dropback, was negative. Negative, Mike. Sam. So think about this for a second.
Give me a minute, man. Hang on a second.
Negative. Okay. So
God.
As soon as he's under center, right? You already
know it's a failure.
You know
failure.
It's not zero. It's not zero. It's not like zero, right? It's not going to work.
Right.
It goes from not going to work to it's definitely not going to work.
Yeah, we're running backwards, man. It's going backwards.
It's a negative 0.19. Negative 0.019.
I tell you what, DTR probably wasn't too far behind him.
So yes, guys were open. Yes, this podcast was saying this all year. It's not Kevin. It's not the scheme. I would even say I feel bad for Ken Dorsey because I think he may have gotten some of the brunt of all this, right?
Oh, he took it all.
Yeah. So Watson was historically bad. So bad that he is rated since 2005 one of the top 5 worst quarterbacks in the league. You know who's on that list, guys? Zach Wilson. He was a rookie. Do you guys remember Jamarcus Russell? He was a rookie. And there's 3 other guys on that list that were rookies.
Rookies, okay. Yeah,
so he's just as bad this year, dropping back as rookies.
Can you say unseasoned veteran?
So exactly. So you can see why he had no interest in playing under center because he knew he was not good under center. So I'm wondering, from an analytics standpoint, how do you not see that before you sign this guy?
It's all about
how do you not see? Yeah. How do you not see when you look at tape, when you do all your numbers, crunch everything you need to crunch from an analytical standpoint, that you did not see? Well, Kevin is a coach that plays under center 90% of the time. And this guy in Houston is played in shotgun 90% of the time. Exactly. It's a car wreck. And you said, we're going to merge these guys together, and they're just going to figure it out.
It's also a Paul DePodesta thing. I mean, I'm not going to, I shouldn't even brought that up.
No, you can bring it up because I read another article that said, if you look at who went to Houston, the only person that wasn't on the plane was Paul DePodesta.
Good.
So that tells you, was Paul DePodesta even in on this decision?
Sean, what's up? Good morning, buddy. Thank you for joining us.
That's a good argument.
I really don't think, in all this coming out, I really don't think Kevin was on board with this.
No, because Kevin, he had to be sure.
Well, they talked to him, and I think that Kevin was already probably telling him, here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to get it. And he was probably getting some funk by Deshaun. Like, I actually think he felt something. And he was like, well, and if Jimmy Haslam says, this is our guys, this is what we're going to get, and this is what you're going to have to deal with. And I think Andrew was right there, too. I think out of them 3 guys, I think Haslam and Barry were the big deciding factors on that. Okay? Less than Stefanski. That's just the way I'm looking at it.
I would agree with that. And you can tell. Now you can say, well, how can you speculate that? Well,
Haslam probably said, you're a coach him.
Yeah. So, and we can go back to what Jason Lloyd said in the article when he said that Kevin came prepared and showed Watson how he can be successful in the Kubiak Shanahan system. So Kevin came prepared to say, listen, we know you do shotgun, but listen, you can be even better if you take time and learn this system, because your skill set, the RPO skill set under center, shows that you can be more successful. Okay.
You know what the deciding factor for Deshaun was at that point? He was
money.
Like, man, I'm not. I'm still not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. And then his agent went and said
that might have happened. You're right.
His agent probably went, I'm alluding, but his agent probably said, "How about guaranteed money?" And
Or yeah,
Deshaun went, "What?
what?
Nah, you got my attention. I'll
He
do
said,
whatever. Let's
yeah.
run it." You know,
He's like, I don't like that system, but I may be able to make it work for
guaranteed money.
Guaranteed money.
No matter what happens to me,
yeah,
bet. You know.
So
I'll
yeah,
read
that's
this last one to move
go
us in if you want.
No, you go ahead.
Jason Lloyd also says, according to multiple players, those mistakes, were not pointed out in film sessions. Frustrating at least a few veterans who believe Stefanski wouldn't criticize Watson in front of the team when Jameis Winston replaced Watson after his torn Achilles in October. Players said Stefanski returned to pointing out quarterbacks' mistakes in film sessions. And do you think that was to keep Deshaun Watson's pride up? Like, hey, I'm not going to point out your stupid errors that you've made.
They were like they rolled out the red carpet. He was getting the Prince treatment, and he was like, I don't know, I want to say like some things he was untouchable on. Leave him alone. Don't say nothing to him. Let him do his work. Let his athleticism that prove itself. And then it just didn't work. You know, so like this is going down. It's for the worst trade in NFL. It's hands down. Unfortunately, it had to be our fucking team had to deal with this crap. So no more guaranteed money. How about that? You know, no more of that crap.
Guru brought up a point that
we're sitting here now eating this shit for the last 3 years, man. We're trying to be a winning team, and we can't do that now. And we were held hostage on the situation. I don't like that. No more of this shit, dude.
Handcuffed. I get it. Guru brought up a point that Angel brought up last week and says people want to blame Barry and DePodesta. You don't sign a check for $230 million guaranteed without the express direction of ownership. And
and that's how it probably went down. It probably went down exactly what Sam said. Like, and Watson's like, well, I don't think it's a good fit there because they want to do under center and da. And then it came back to the Haslams and the teams like, you know, he's not 100% on board because of, you know, his reasons. And then they came like, what do we have to get him? And they went with the highest price route, which was, again, at the time, it made sense. Like, you want this quarterback who's so good in Houston, you know, all this stuff, like outside of the outside of what he was being accused of, like you saw that it made sense. But then again, you read all these articles come out thinking, man, how can they make these decisions based upon all this information they had when this player didn't? Now the player didn't even want to run the system your head coach wanted to implement.
I'll be real simple with it. I wasn't on deck with this trade, and it was, for me, it was baggage. Period. End of story. I was already like, man, we don't need to be reinventing. Why do we bring this drama to this organization? An organization that struggles and that tries to produce, and then you're going to do something like that. That's the way I looked at it. I'm like, this dude hasn't played already for a while, and he's not going to be able to play for a while, and we're going to give him all this money, and we're going to roll him out there, hoping that he was who he was prior to all these allegations and the court and all that. It was baggage. I was not on board with that, man.
That's what Sean says. He says, the last 5 years, I have a problem signing or drafting guys with character issues. We're just like the Raiders the old days, let alone poor talent evaluation.
That last comment, I'm not 100%. I think their talent evaluation has been 50-50. And we'll probably get into it later on in this season because it's off season. As opposed, there's some talent on this team that's progressively well considering where they drafted at. But we'll leave that alone for now.
I'm not going to go off of PFF numbers. I mean, they help you score a general player's numbers, but at the end of the day, is he making plays happen on the field that are actually, worth something?
And there's been Hall before his injury, McGuire, Reed, all these players that they drafted last year are progressing well, and later talent at that. My take on this, according to multiple players' mistakes pointed out, this is where I for the first time questioned Kevin's ability to coach, because if you cannot criticize the highest paid player, but yet you can criticize other people, you're going to lose respect of your team. Right. It starts with the top, right? So Tom Brady said, Belichick criticized him all the time. and he was no different than the special teams guy that was playing friggin' on the practice squad. So I hope Kevin learns from this, and I hope that not just Kevin, but the organization learns from this, that nobody is expensed from criticism. When someone makes a mistake, it needs to be pointed out, especially as much Jameis made, this year.
Right, right.
And the thing is, like, Jameis is who Jameis is, so you criticizing him, like, it's not going to change him throwing interceptions. But that was the only piece of the article.
That's why I think he probably got leaned into. So that next game, what game was it, man? I think it was maybe when we played Pittsburgh and we did the live show. I'm like, this dude is not trying to throw the ball. I think they were like, look, man, you're fucking up and this is not going to work. And you got to fine tune yourself. And he was probably getting leaned into. And so he was so worried about not throwing an interception, because that was the big problem, that he did absolutely nothing that game. He kind of hid behind all that stuff. There was nothing downfield. So, I mean, it helps. Constructive criticism helps, but it can also hamper,
Yeah,
So,
I agree. I think balance is there. Maybe he was overcompensating for the fact that he let it all out because he couldn't do it to Deshaun Watson.
I mean, my guy said he wanted to be delivered from it. So, this was on his mind, man. He got
delivered from the pick sixes, just not the actual picks.
He was praying to the Lord, man, help me through this. I want to be part of this, man. And it's just, and I loved Winston, man. That dude, he brought excitement back to me watching the Browns play. Hey, all right, he threw a whole bunch of interceptions, but it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
And he had his 400-yard game, and he made it fun to watch, because the shit that we were watching in the beginning of the season, man, I'm like, I don't know, man. I can't keep watching this crap, man. I'm like, what is going on here, man?
497 yards game. Sorry.
Yeah. He was almost a 5. Yeah. Sean brings up the 6 draft picks and more, the money, more than it bothers me more than we're going to we won't touch on that, but we're actually going to do a show Tuesday. Mike actually brought up a good, draw some really cool, fun notes about the timeline of terror is what I will probably call it, of Deshaun Watson. And everything that contributed to him coming here and what we gave up and how it impacts the team currently. So this Tuesday, watch that show. We'll be live 7:30, all platforms. Also, too, it's going to be important to watch, because after that, the Tuesday after, we're going to get into a show called Guardrails. And now a lot of people are not unfamiliar with what that means, but Paul D. Podesta has come out. It came out when he first was hired, of a outline of how to run a team, and it's called Guardrails. Chad stumbled upon it and then shared it with us, and we're going to break it down to how the team has gone away from it and how it impacted the team and how they need to get back into the guardrails of winning. And I know a lot of people put a lot of blame on Paul D. Podesta for some reason, but what he wrote here in these guardrail outline is pretty interesting. To see why is he getting the blame for something that he wrote out. Now, he can write it out, but again, if it's not being followed, who's the final decision maker? The person that owns the team. So maybe this, in 2 weeks, the Paul D. Podesta show, maybe is what we'll call it. Maybe it'll change your mind a little bit on what Paul D. Podesta is and does, and maybe he's getting a lot of flack he doesn't deserve. Now, that's just my take on it. Now, when you hear the information, maybe you'll get to hate him even more. But so next week's show is gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting.
I go Paul who?
Yeah. He's
what?
You know what I thought the other day, Mike, that Chad is our Paul D. Podesta.
That's the stats guy.
Yeah, he's a stats guy, and he's in California.
Yeah, there you go.
He doesn't ever come to Cleveland.
And one day he was going over that PFF stuff, and Sam was like, "Shut up, you nerd!
Shut up, nerd! Heard enough of it."
He's our Paul B. He's our.
Hats off to Chad, though, man. No disrespect.
He's sitting there in the warm climate, pulling up stats, and while we're sitting here freezing. Nonetheless, next week's show is gonna be fun. It'll probably make you angry, but it probably is a good therapy session to kind of let it all out and then maybe move on from it. Maybe as a show, we'll probably not hit it as much as after next week's show because it's a lot of notes. We were going to do it last week, but I'm like, I would hate to water this down because Mike put so much work into it, and I'm like, this is meat here, and this is aggression, and we just need to talk about it, get frustrated, yell and scream, and then move on. Also, kind of like lays out a better perspective because I think a lot of misinformation is out there. Like there's extra picks sometimes out there, an extra player we didn't give up or gave up. A lot of wrong information. I think Mike broke it down well. And I don't want you guys to miss out on that.
I stayed up till 1 a.m. doing that show. Drinking beers and stayed up till 1 a.m. writing all that up. That was bad.
So it was fun. That's why selfishly, I didn't want to just breeze past it last week because I thought it was like, man, this is too good just to be like, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. But it's good. We'll probably spend most of the show, actually 90% of the show on it. On to the last topic of the day. I normally say 5 good questions, but I'm going to change the name to 5 stupid questions. It's going to make us think outside of football. So the first question is, which playoff team would you trust the least to babysit your kids?
I'm going to go with the Eagles because they're all assholes. Their fan base is assholes as well. So, yeah, Eagles. I don't want them watching my kids at all. My kid will probably come home drunk with a heroin overdose. Who knows?
I'm going Chiefs, man. I'm just going to go Chiefs just because they seem to get handed everything. There's no discipline.
Spoil them.
When you're spoiled like that, you're just hand-given everything, you don't learn no lessons in life. And you can see it the way Patrick Mahomes walks onto the field. So I just think, I ain't leaving my kids with none of them dudes. I ain't having it.
I'm going to say Pittsburgh fans because I don't want them to think that it's okay to have relations with their sister.
You go.
Oh, man.
Number 2, but that
is not right. That is your sibling. Don't you do that.
What are you doing there, dog?
Look at Angel, you got the thumbs up for that one.
What are you doing there, dog? Number 2, if your team, that's a little dig in my Pittsburgh friend.
That's your uncle. That's your uncle father. Now, knock it off.
If your team had to bribe a ref to win a playoff game, how much would you personally chip in?
Nothing for me. I want them to win it fair and square, so I don't have to hear all the other fans bitching and moaning about it.
I said the same thing, Mike. I said my team, they don't need a bribe a ref. We're gonna because the odds are always stacked against us, and there will be a day when we just outright do it. You know what I'm saying? And we don't need no help getting it done. So,
I'm gonna say as much as I can afford because I'm so tired of losing. I don't care. I'm willing to cheat. I'm willing to cheat to get that ring, dog. Like let me take out a.
How much to sweep the leg? I got you.
Let me take a second mortgage on my house. Let me sell my kids' toys on Facebook Market. Whatever I need to do, I want a ring before I die. Number 3, what's more stressful, watching your team in the playoffs or trying to explain football to someone during a playoff game?
I said watching my team in the playoffs only because we've been there and it's been rough.
Yes.
I do hate explaining football. That's why I'm glad my wife understands most of it. Last week she said, we were watching the Eagles game and it was like 1 minute and 30 something left. And she's like, oh, look, we're in the bottom of the 3rd. And I'm like, wow, that actually kind of
makes sense.
Kind of makes sense.
That's awesome.
I would have confused the man. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? It's like bottom 3rd. Like, no, it's 1 minute and 30 to go, honey.
Yeah,
she's smart.
Yeah, I couldn't.
I'm with you there too, Mike, because while we're on the topic of wives and stuff real quick, happy birthday to my wife today.
Shout out to Jennifer. Happy birthday. Happy 23rd birthday.
That's my rock, and that's my tech. She helps me get all this happen because I don't know what I'm doing. I touch a button on any of this stuff, it goes to hell in a handbasket. So happy birthday to her. Today. But I'm with you. She actually understands some football. She's got she got some football IQ. So I don't have to sit down. It's hard sometimes when somebody's trying to talk football and they absolutely don't know what the fuck they're talking about at all. And sometimes I just my eye will start squinting, and I'm just like, did I just hear what the? I can't even make it make sense. So I try to zip it and focus and let it drown it out. So.
My daughters say, zip it, lock it, and put it in your pocket. So if you want
Hey.
to say something mean, zip it, lock it, and then put it in your pocket.
There you go.
So I'm going to answer this question because I have two young girls who've been watching football with me, thankfully, and they ask a lot of questions. Trust me, especially during games in which this year the Browns were losing. And main question is always, why are the Browns losing, Dad? So I would say it is more stressful for me to explain to people a game of football, especially when your team's losing in a playoff game. you don't want to talk.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to tell you why we're losing. I don't know why. I don't know why we threw it on 4th and 1 as opposed to quarterback sneak. I don't want to.
Why does the kicker keep missing it? Weighted at one side.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know. Listen.
Don't get me started.
What's that white yellow line on the screen mean? Babe, I told you every 10 yards is a first down. They get 4 tries to get that to that yellow line. But okay, it's first down again, but they went past it starts over until they get into the end zone. So every week it's the same thing. But they're catching on. I'm thankful that my girls are actually interested in football.
It was painful when we were watching that Pittsburgh game together, and I said, if Hopkins keeps missing it to the left, make an adjustment to the right, and you should line up in the middle. And then he did, and the next week he went all the way to the right. I'm like, not that much, dude. What are you doing? Oh, man, I was ready to bang my head on that bar table so hard, bro.
Number 4, if your team mascot had to sub in as quarterback for a full game, what would their stats be?
100 rushing yards because he's a dog. He would
See,
grab the ball and run.
I was actually thinking of what the one behind Chad. I was thinking the elf. I wasn't even thinking the dog.
Oh, I didn't even think of the elf.
I did the same thing, Angel. I went with the elf. I said he's going to have them stat numbers like DTR because his small ass can't see over the line. He's going to have. Well, if the dog is our mastiff. The mastiff's going to run. Dog will eat. But I went with the elf. Just the way this season's been, I thought elf right away, and I go, yep, we're gonna have DTR stats. The elf's out there. He can't do nothing but run around, and he can't see over the line. He can't see no reads. So elf for me.
Yeah, not that you guys bring it up. Maybe I can bring in both and say the elf can be our quarterback while the dog is our Nick Chubb. Back. Yeah, so then you can
or our edge rusher.
Or edge rusher, yeah.
Get him.
But I was truthfully, I was thinking of the elf, and I thought Lamar Jackson type running back where he's a dual threat. But of course, his stats will be good, but we won't win, so it won't matter because he'll be running for 100 yards, throwing for 200-300, 4 touchdowns, and we'll lose by 1 point. That's just the way our team is. Number 5. If you could replace your team's offensive coordinator with any celebrity, who would it be? And what would their first play call be?
I went with Samuel L. Jackson, and our first play call would be motherfucker.
That means running up the middle.
Yeah.
Sam?
I went Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, good one. Good one.
In a parallel universe, okay? The play call would be called Red Right, all right. And it would actually work. And we would have went on to beat the Raiders. And we would have went on and we would have kicked that field goal. We would have won 15-14 instead of losing that game. So Red Right, all right would have worked. And we would have went on to Super Bowl 15 because the Raiders did. So
yeah.
And we would McConaughey, Red Right. All right.
I'll do Sylvester Stallone because he's been, since my dad loved, my dad's favorite actor, always watched his movies. I grew up with his movies, and now he's one of my all-time favorite actors. And I would go with Adrian. Just scream, Adrian!
That's the audible.
Yeah, that's the audible. Because that's typical where Browns would go there and they would change it up and not be successful because they changed it. And
you could double it up too, man. You could put Paulie in there too if he's got to reverse to Adrian.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, yo, Paulie, hey.
So that's
what? Adrian. I got you, bro. I can get out.
You got it.
That.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. Rocky, anything even if it's like the dumbest, like he's coming up with some weird, like actually King of Tulsa is a really good show. If you have not watched it with him on it, he's a good.
I've seen that in the Rocky, they had the two turtles. I named them Cuff and Link. That's Cuff, that's Link.
Yeah.
He still actually has those turtles.
Oh, because they live to be billions of years old.
Yeah, he actually still has those turtles, Cuff and Link. So,
speaking of Buckeyes, Sean said, "Go Buckeyes." We're going to close this show first. I didn't update any of this, but Ohio State beat the Texans, Texas 24-14, the Cotton Bowl. They move on to play the Notre Dame Fighting Irish this Monday, and the college football championship. Do you you guys think a lot of people? I think we're 8-point favorites. I thought that's the last I saw. I'm not 100% sure. That just seems too high for me for some reason. Yeah, 8.5-point favorites. Do you think we're going to win that comfortably?
I don't think it's going to be comfortably. I think it's going to be a good game, but I think we are going to win, and I'm going to say Ohio State by 10.
Okay. That would be not heart attack. That would still be good. Okay. How about you, Sam?
I'm going same with Mike. I think it's going to be a good game. We all want to watch a good game. I don't want to see a blowout. Obviously against our team. Okay, Ohio State. And I don't want to see a blowout. I want to see a game, man. I want to see two teams go at it and earn the title. You know what I'm saying? So let's have a good game, and I'm all about it, man.
And Michigan fans still won't shut up.
Yeah, they say it doesn't count because we beat you and you didn't win the Big Ten title or whatever. Yeah, this whole thing. Times change, man. You still could get into the playoffs and not win the division title, and you still can win the championship. It's a different college football.
I'll be petty. We won the fight after the game, so
yeah,
I'll leave it at that.
We fought harder at that fight after the game than we did during the game.
We won the fight, so whatever. Go play football.
You got to look at it this way. All NCAA sports are changing now with these people getting paid. It's going to change. You're going to see different players coming in just because of money. Transfer portal.
Look at the college football playoffs itself. SEC was not represented. It was Big Ten the whole time. I mean, and just because the Big Ten decided to roll out the cash and get the good players to come over to that conference as opposed to SEC.
Yep.
So, I mean, that in itself is changing. And it's going to get even better because I'm sure Michigan would be better than what they were this year because they spent $20 million on their quarterback. So, that's something to look forward to next year. But either way, I the thing is when I look at the bracket and I see the path to this point, I see Ohio State having tougher games, Oregon, Tennessee, Oregon, Texas. And then you have Notre Dame who played, I don't even remember who they played in the first round. But they played Penn State who, did you guys know Drew Eller did not complete a reception to a wide receiver that game?
No, did not know that.
All his passes, tight ends and running backs. Do you think Notre Dame's defense is going to be able? No, I say that even though Texas did stop Jeremiah Smith, stop Ibuka. I mean, I don't see that happening 2 games in a row with this offense.
Neither do I, especially with the run game.
Yeah, so that's why I'm nervous because I thought Jeremiah Smith was going to have a great game against Texas, but then you read Texas had the best secondary, so maybe that's what negates it. But I don't think Notre Dame's going to have enough talent. And again, their coach, by the way, what make me nervous is their coach. Their coach seems to have those guys playing beyond their skill set. So I'm afraid that Ohio State might come in thinking some things, and then Notre Dame surprise them. But I agree, Ohio State by 9. Why not? All right.
On to the Cleveland Cavaliers. We lost that game to Oklahoma City Thunder. What was that? Tuesday or Wednesday?
Yeah.
And we are back in the league lead for number 1 spot. Oklahoma. Wow, I hate that word. Oklahoma.
Yeah.
City Thunder lost the game, and we are back at number 1. We are not tied for that number 1 position anymore.
Is that your safe word?
Oklahoma.
That's why you hate it. Go ahead, Mike. Oklahoma. That's enough of that. Hey, I love you, dude.
Get off me.
Get your hands off me, Oklahoma.
You know what? This fan base, again, even for the Cavs, you witness it. Like, they lose a game and everybody freaks out,
yeah,
man.
It's like they've lost, literally. Actually, no, they have the best record because
6
Oklahoma
games.
lost. Yeah, they still have the best record in the league because
we
Oklahoma lost
6 games with 34 wins, and everybody's still bitching and
everybody's
moaning.
still having a count, and that's the first time they lost against a West team all year. So
Yep.
I mean, and it was in Oklahoma. It's not like at home. And Donovan Mitchell again had a horrible game, but I agree. I think fans overreact. I mean, they've only had 6. Next matchup is against Minnesota in Minnesota, so they should be able to win that.
9 o'clock tonight.
Yeah. So I mean, Cavs are it's going to go up and no, I shouldn't say go up and down. You're going to have games like that throughout the. They're not going to go. They'll probably lose 10, 11, 12 games. So let's not have a heart attack every time they have a horrible game.
I think they're predicted to win like 86 games or something as of right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, just temper down a little bit, guys.
Let's just make sure they all stay healthy because that's a big thing. Too,
that's a huge thing.
You get a couple guys hurt. Let's just be thankful that everybody's healthy right now. They're putting on a show. They're making it. They're doing their thing. And let's just keep them healthy and let them keep going as far as they can go, man. You know, I heard they were talking about some Donovan Mitchell stuff the other day on 92.3. He's kind of struggling as of late. They don't know if he's playing behind an injury he's not talking about, but he's not performing to what he was doing. So let's just hope everybody's all right, man. You know, it's another one of our teams. This is a branch of our sports here in Ohio. I want all them guys to be healthy. I want them to go out there and kick ass, man. Let's get it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of rumors that they're going to look to trade for a wing, which is what they struggle with defensively. Johnson from Brooklyn. The good news is the Cavs won't have to give up much. They don't need much. They just need another wing defensive player, which I think he would be a good fit. And they probably would just give out an expiring contract or maybe a late round, second round pick, which in the NBA, second round picks mean nothing. Anyways. But yeah, Cavs are.
It's one thing I want to point out because I'd see I roof, so I'm all around the city, downtown, in and out. But I've seen the billboards were bugging me, Cavs billboards, because they were showing like the 4. All right, and it was Donovan, it was Garland, it was our center, Mobley, and Allen. I'm like, where's fifth guy at? You don't have a fifth guy on that poster? It's a game of 5 on 5, right?
Yeah.
So it left a bad taste in my mouth, man. I'm like, put that other guy up there. Or you don't have him, or you're gonna acquire him, you know. So
I think the issue with the fifth guy is they have a rotational guy because they want Strus to play, but he's just coming off injury.
That's why I would have put on that board, man.
They should have put him on the board. He'll be back, and he's back now. So you know.
And they go with the whole like Big 4. That's like their thing, like our Big 4. And I think that's a slap to the face because there are some analysts
guys
last
on the
year
team that are into that system, man. It's kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
I poster. I should be on the poster.
I think LeBron had that big ass thing right across the street.
I love that thing,
James. So did I.
Love that thing. That thing was so beautiful. When now it's kind of like.
Did you guys see the video of it? Like the years, like it,
yeah.
It's kind of cool.
It was cool when it was here. It was good for that era for that season. But now, you want more of a team. But I think it was a slap in the face it's a slap in the face to the national media from the organization because a lot of national media was saying you can't win with 2 bigs. You can't win with 2 bigs. You can't win with 4. The NBA is not that. You need 2, et cetera, et cetera. But Adkins came in and said, you can win with these 4. You can win with 2 bigs. I'm going to show you how. And he's done a great job. But I agree. Add a fifth guy there. Add Strus. Add whoever. I mean, a bench guy. Add somebody that's relevant. Make it more of a team win thing. But that's it, guys. We went through the show. Hour and 25 minutes. Not bad. Not bad for a Saturday morning.
45-minute show, but boom, here we are.
Yeah, we like to talk here on the Saturday morning. Sorry, we went a little over, but again, this is brought to you by Beard Gains, beardgains.com. Go to beardgains.com, get all your beard care stuff, beard gear also. Do Bearded Browns at checkout, get your 10% off. Doug White from Allstate Insurance. Please give him a call, let him know that we sent you, get a quote, see if you can save some money on all your insurance needs. This Tuesday, we will be live. We'll be talking about the Deshaun Watson timeline of terror. And we're going to lay out some facts that maybe you didn't know and some stats that you need to know. Mike did a great job. So tune in live, 7:30 all platforms. Let's just try to end the chapter of Deshaun Watson where it's not talked about as much on this show, at least, as it should until Next time, like always, go Browns.
Go Browns.
Peace, all.
OH.
I
Let's get it.